the Chicago Bears have already started making roster cuts, and we have the first round of roster cuts to discuss. We're going to talk about it, break it all down, and more. But first, we got to play that intro.
Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Me and Steve-O in the building to give you all the news. Well, we got a couple of updates. So, of course, you guys talked about Steve-O and Bobby broke down Ian Wheeler being placed on IR, right along with Nasimba Webster and Douglas Coleman as well. They've all been placed on injury reserve Saturday morning, but we have a wave of cuts. Keith Randolph Jr., the defensive tackle from the University of Illinois, is cut right along with tight end Tommy Sweeney as well. We missed some yesterday. We'll catch up on, but Steve-O, just with those two, the newest ones, how do you feel about Sweeney and Keith Randolph being waived from this roster? And do you think either one of them will end up on the practice squad?
I would say Sweeney, but I think Sweeney did enough to audition himself for somebody else to pick him up. But I wouldn't be upset if we did put him on the practice squad because he did show out for pretty much every game. He did something positive multiple times in each and every game. But when it comes to Keith Randolph, it is what it is. Like I didn't really see much in the playoffs. I mean, not in the playoffs, in the preseason game. Like I didn't really see much. So it is what it is. Like I expect him to get cut at this point. So hopefully he gathers some attention and maybe somebody look at what he did in Illinois. And maybe he could make the squad somewhere else. But I don't even think he should make the practice squad either.
I mean, that's fair. When you look at it, Tommy Sweeney in 4 preseason games, he had 86 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 receptions. Like you said, he showed enough. I hope to keep him on the practice squad because, we have Mercedes Lewis there, and I understand that. But Mercedes Lewis can retire at any point. Like, if you do end up keeping him cool, if a team takes him for your practice squad, all right, it's not in your control. So maybe that's the sign. As far as Keith Randolph Jr., like, I'm really kind of disappointed. And not that you could be too disappointed by an undrafted free agent. Like, while he went undrafted mainly because of injury concerns, this was a guy with the big body, with the drive. When you look at the way he played throughout college, even with him having some injury concerns, I did think that he was going to make his case to end up being on the final 53-man roster. But really, for the most part, he really didn't do much. He had 2 tackles and 1 fumble recovery and played in all 4 preseason games. That kind of just is what it is, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what I said. Like Randolph didn't do much. A lot of other people in all positions, and like you just said, we just made that move a couple of hours ago for another D tackle. So yeah, it's kind of expected for him to get moved on, and he didn't really kind of fit our style. Like if anything, our D tackle got a run stop, and he wasn't a good run stopper, so he got to go.
Yeah. Now, some of the ones that we missed as far as yesterday. So Khalid Kareem was waived as well yesterday. This is a veteran defensive end here who played decently, I think, in his preseason snaps. Not anything too crazy. The Bears did pick him up off waivers, I would think, last year. Was that the beginning of this year? That was after the 2023 roster cut down period. But he's gone now. Over the course of the preseason, he had 1 sack, 6 pressures, and 5 tackles in 4 games. How do you feel about Khalid Kareem being gone?
I just feel like he got outplayed by a lot of people, like especially on the defense side of the ball. And I never said leaving his position, but it was just a lot of people that I didn't see us losing or wanting to lose due to him. Like, Amen Angbangmiga outplayed him. People like Reddy came in the game, outplayed him every few times. Baskerville outplayed him. So, like, it's just a lot of players all around this defense that I just feel had a way better preseason than he did. So it is what it is when it comes with him. Like you said, he played okay. He made some flashes, but there was other people that made more flashes on top of like Daniel Hardy's and others of the world.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And once you made that trade for Darrell Taylor, I think it was somebody's not getting cut. Now, I do think the Bears going to have to make a decision between Hardy and Dominique Robinson. I have mine. I'd pick Hardy over Robinson at that point.
Facts.
So that's just, but we'll see. The Bears may look at it differently, but that's what it comes down to for me. And then the Bears also waived Freddie Swan. This is the wide receiver who actually had a pretty good. Was it the Hall of Fame game or the game after the Hall of Fame? He had a pretty big game. but he played 30 snaps for the
It
Bears.
had to be the Hall of Fame game.
Hall of Fame
Had to
game,
be.
3 passes and 30 yards in that time. The wide receiver position is already going to be hard to make the team with Tyler Scott showing out the way that he has and things. And we haven't heard anything about Colin Johnson yet, who, hasn't really done much. He hasn't been healthy since the Hall of Fame game, but this wasn't a cut that surprised me at all either.
Yeah. Like I had troubles remembering what his number was. Like at the end of the day, he just didn't do enough. And like you said, we already knew it was gonna be on our wide receiver staff. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So we'll see there. Final thing as far as Hardy, do you think Hardy makes that roster? Does he end up being a practice squad guy?
I feel like he did everything possible to make this squad. Like he was around the ball. He showed that not only can he get pressure, but he can get home on some of them occasions. And not only that, he's also a good run stopper as well. So he just fits everything that we want from a defensive lineman on this team. And I just feel like they're at a same thing where it kind of goes with the last guy. He had an okay preseason, Dominique Robinson. He had an okay, but when at the end of the day, Hardy and Austin was probably the stars of this D line of this preseason. That's a big motherfucker.
He's a bear. That's what it is. He's a bear.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, so the Bears we have 86 players now on our team. No, after the 2 cuts, we're down to 84. We still got 32-ish cuts, 31 cuts to get down to. So it's going to be a lot. You could be seeing our faces a lot over the course of this weekend. Now, the final cut day is Tuesdays when they have to have the final 53-man roster. So they got days to get this done. But with Ryan Poles making additions on top of that, I think that they probably have most of the cuts that they're going to make. They're just kind of going through it, seeing who's going to stay on the practice squad, who's not. But it's probably going to be a lot of cuts here sooner rather than later. So
yeah, that Monday going to be a motherfucker. That's all I know.
That's a fact. So we'll see what it comes down to. Do you think, are there any surprising cuts that could be left, Steve, or that could surprise you between now and
then? I could see us not possibly like getting like Baskerville. I could see him possibly cussing somebody like that, or even like a Hardy. Like I think Hardy, we don't necessarily know. Like to us, he won us over, but we don't know. Like you said earlier, we don't know how Pose and the rest of the coaching staff feel about him. So, and I had to say surprising. Those 2 are probably the most surprising ones. 3, I should say, because maybe Amen don't get in either.
Yeah,
I doubt he get cut.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get cut either. But I guess we'll end up seeing with that one. Yeah, I mean, but hey, where it stands at right now, the Chicago Bears, they've made those moves. They've placed Ian Willer on injury reserve, which could means that they get to keep him around because it's before the finalization of the 53-man roster. They can keep him on that the whole season. Take a look at him next year in training camp without having to officially cut him. And he could actually spend that time to go ahead and finish getting his doctorate, which, you never know with that.
Hey.
So we'll see what happens.
Somebody say you think we keep him Blasted game. All I'm gonna say is when Blasted game is on the field, good things happen. So they better keep him.
Yeah, especially because you want some protection there for for Caleb Williams. Now, I would say that if we saw more from Roschon, I honestly would say that the Bears could probably get away with lining Roschon up at fullback more times than not. But then again, you can't bet on him to be healthy. One thing about Kari Blasingame, he may not always pop up on the stat sheet, but he's in there in the game blocking. So
blocker, making hold, he doing everything, and he can run the ball if you allow him to. It's a lot of trickery things we could do. Like, to be honest, out of everybody on this offense, he's probably the most unutilized player for the last 3 years.
Has he been here 3 years?
It's been at least 2. It's been at least 2.
I remember when we signed him, they made a big deal of the fact that we hadn't had a true fullback on the roster for like 5 years, but yeah, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like some people,
because he was here with David Montgomery. Yeah,
he was okay. So some things when it comes to like certain players per their role, like sometimes you may never hear their name called, but you got to look to see what they do on the field. And like you said, Kari Blasingame is one of the people that he protects the quarterback pretty well, especially at a time where our offensive line was trash. Now with an improved, still not great offensive line, yeah, you may want to keep Kari Blasingame around for that. So
yeah, so it's 2022, so it's been 2 years.
Okay, 2 years for him. But yeah, any last thoughts or anything, Steve, before we get up out of here, brother?
I wonder how this. I'm more concerned, not necessarily concerned, but I'm more interested how this the cornerback room is going to be, because I just feel like a lot of these dudes made a good vote of confidence for themselves to make this team. I don't know what the concept situation for like people like Strowman and people like that, but I feel like they could possibly be at risk. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Strowman Jr. could be somebody who's at risk, especially with the depth that we have there. Especially with Reddy Stewart stepping up as well. Like, there's a lot of potential there. Like, I don't know what they do. I won't necessarily say that it's surprising, because again, when you're talking about like the fifth cornerback, like, we have such good talent, but the Bears also got to start thinking about. I mean, in the next few years, Brisker, Kyler Gordon, and then the year after that, Terrell Smith and Tyreek. I mean, not Tyreek Stevenson. Yeah, Tyreek Stevenson are up for contract extension.
Yeah.
So, like, while we got a young cornerback core, we're like a year or two removed from having to start extending those guys, and that's where things start getting really interesting.
All right, we just paid one, so yeah, we gotta pay. Yeah, we got a couple of them that we gotta look out for.
So,
and also, I hope Travis Homer get cut.
I saw his name in there. Like Travis Homer serves no purpose here. Like, and listen, not to say that he can't help some teams, but I think with the depth that we have here, unless you're planning on moving Khalil Herbert before the start of the season, and even then, I'd still say, maybe you'll be fine without him. But like, Travis Homer he's Travis Homer. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, we got Kari Blasingame. We don't need Travis Homer, really.
I will put
Kari can do anything. Yeah, he can do anything that Homer can do. So
yeah, facts. I 100% agree with that.
But all right, y'all, make sure y'all stay in tune with us. Hit that subscribe button. Like, you guys know, when news drops, we drop. That's just the way it works here at CBC. So make sure you guys stay in tune with us. You can follow us at Shy Bear Central. We're back to streaming on Twitter too. Had to go ahead and fork up the money for X Premium so we can get back to streaming on Twitter. I try not to do it for as long as I can, but too many people started asking why we weren't on streaming on Twitter anymore. So we're back there. So make sure you guys stay in tune with us there. You can lock in with us. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. And we'll see you guys next time we drop a video. I'm sure it'll be before the end of the day.